In Depth with Dan Carter is brought to you by Ontario Power Generation, proud to be part of Durham Region.
It's time for our in-depth portion of Studio 12 News. Good evening and thank you for joining us. Once again, we pick up our conversation. This battle with education is going to be an interesting one over the next 6 months or so, and we hope that there comes to some type of an agreement between Labor and the ministry and school boards and the government. Here is my conversation with Dave.
Dave, once again, thanks for joining our viewers tonight. Last night you walked us through the Durham report, some of the recommendations your organization was willing to do, the offer you put forward to the province to be able to help find a solution when it comes to educational cuts that have to be done as a big part of cutting, I think, $16 billion out of the provincial budget. Talk about, you put this proposal on the table, which was very hard medicine, I would presume, for you to even propose, and then you have to sell it to your members about wage freezes, 4-year deal, cuts in jobs, those kind of things. Labor doesn't usually want to embrace at all. Unprecedented indeed.
I mean, right. we did that because this isn't a fight about money. It's about collective bargaining rights. It's the province coming to us and saying, you will accept these things and there's no room to negotiate, and then turning around and saying, come back to the table, we need to negotiate this.
Right.
We go to them and make a very serious concessionary offer, cuts to our contracts, and they turned it down. They didn't want to talk about that.
So let us understand what they wanted. So what did the province come back to you and say, this is what we want you to do?
They've taken the cuts that they want to put into place, and they've said this is our starting position, not where we're actually funding education now. They've already rolled those cuts through. They've forced them through in what are called the GSNs, the Grants for Student Needs. That's the money that comes from the province to the school boards so that they can run daily operations. And they've already pulled that money out of those grants for next year. So they're starting with their cuts in no negotiation, no discussion. This is just the way it's going to be. And then anything we proposed on top of that, they were looking at, well, how much will that cost us or how much will that reduce? But there was no their initial proposal seems to be untouchable.
Is there some proposals on the table about changing the older or the more experienced teachers to flush them out and get them to go on to retirement and bring younger or first or second year teachers into the fold to be able to save money that way? Is
that was part of our proposal that we put forward.
That was part of yours. Okay.
Definitely not theirs.
Okay.
In fact, when you look at the sum total of their proposals, there are wage freezes, grid freezes. So they want to freeze the people who are on, we have a 12-year grid. So
right.
People work for 12 years before they actually make it to the top already. It's the
right.
largest in the public sector.
Right.
And they want to change that grid structure as well. They don't want to tell us how. They want us to sign, and then we'll talk about that later. So the younger teachers are the ones who are going to get hit the hardest by the government's proposal.
Right.
They are looking at huge financial penalties over their career.
So can you put it in layman's terms? Do you believe that the province is trying to take the collective bargaining rights away from your members?
I definitely believe that. I believe.
Okay, go ahead.
I believe that what they're trying to do is remove the ability for us to sit down and negotiate a fair collective agreement. We may have to sign some things we don't like, and we've come to the table and we've made those offers, and we never even got a chance to say, okay, well, it needs to be a little bit more. The government say that to us, or it
right.
needs, or maybe we could try this or that. There's no negotiation. It's just ram this through. We're doing it now.
Now, are they taking the same approach in all industries? Are they doing this to the OMA? Are they doing this to nurses and doctors? Is this their approach?
Bargaining tables shouldn't be public. There
right.
should be a discussion at the table between those people, so that I don't know exactly what's happening at the doctor's table, for example.
Right.
But from what I'm hearing from people that I know, yes, it's the same approach. We're making these cuts, there's no negotiations, and they move on.
And there's a real sense in North America that this is a growing trend about taking away collective bargaining. The offer is the offer, and that's the end of it. We're going to do it this way, and if you don't like it, we're going to go ahead and do it anyways. What's the danger of that, Dave?
Well, there's long-term ramifications to all of these cuts that they're proposing in the education sector. In the short term, you're going to see busing routes change. Technology that's available in the classroom will change. All of the little items that they're looking at cutting in the budgets for the school boards are going to cause them to lose some money. In the long term, it takes 6 years in Ontario to become a teacher at university, same as your doctor. So these are highly trained people who come out of school tens of thousands of dollars in debt, and they need to start their profession and start to work. Who's going to come to this profession now and say, yeah, I want to come with this set of working conditions and bring my skills and do this job instead of go off somewhere else or do some different job?
If they are successful at taking this approach, is this just the beginning of an approach that each year or each time that the contract comes up that there's something that is being proposed that is only one-sided and therefore unfair to all parties?
It's really difficult to say what that approach will be, because for the last 8 years we've sat down and hammered things through. We've made concessions, they've made offers, and we've come to an agreement, and our education system is in the best shape it's been in a long time. What will they do next time? I know that based on the Drummond report and based on where they want to go with the budget, they're going to have to make many more cuts.
We'll pick up our last point tomorrow night on the show, but just a reminder, check us out on YouTube, Facebook, or channel12.ca. You can see the interview in its completion online. And just a reminder that we want all of our audience members, if you have individuals that go to our school systems, please stay informed about the issues and about some of the changes that are being proposed. It helps all of us make better judgments when it comes to decisions as they come down the pipeline. We'll pick up our conversation tomorrow night. Have a great night. Let's hope the weather for the weekend is going to be warm and sunny. Take care.